We're here today to introduce our new head football coach, Wayne Lineburg. I was going to talk about how confident I am on what he can do for this program, what kind of man he was. But I think the most important thing is, in talking with the team, talking to the players, I know they're confident in his leadership. And that's what's the most important thing here today. So I want to present to you our new head coach, Wayne Lineburg.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. First thing I want to do is just, before we get into specifics of the job and that kind of thing, I want to just address, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't address Latrell. He's obviously a dear friend of mine and always will be, and it's an unfortunate situation, and I know he's very apologetic about it, and he will always be a dear friend of mine. I'll do whatever I can to support him. Having said that, I understand what I've been entrusted with here, and I just want to first off thank Dr. Ayers and Mr. Miller for the opportunity to be the head coach at the University of Richmond. It's a tremendous honor. I understand the gravity of the situation and what the job entails, and the bottom line is we're going to do whatever it takes to do what's best for these student athletes here at the University of Richmond. These kids are what matter the most, and we and the staff here, our football staff, we do everything in our power to help these guys be successful on the field and off the field, because the mission of the University of Richmond has not changed and will not change, and we want kids to come here, do the things the right way, graduate, and represent the university in the right way. And the great thing about it is we talked to the kids last night in the meeting, and they were all unified. They had a team meeting afterwards. They all came out, so they're all unified, and they all want to get this thing and work together to do their very best to get us back. Our mission when we started the season to be better than what we were last year and to get into the playoffs. And obviously what we're doing at this moment now is just working to get ready for Duke. And that is our biggest focus now, and just trying to get ready to play Duke. As I mentioned, the staff here, I think we have a tremendous staff. Bob Trott being the defensive coordinator is as good as they come. Dave Legg coordinating the special teams, and all the rest of the assistant coaches. We all committed. We talked last night, and we all committed to each other that, hey, we're going to do our very best to make this thing work and do the very best we can and put the best product on the field, and as I said, to have kids represent the university and do things the right way. So that's all. I'm going to start with my statement there. If any questions that you guys have, feel free to ask it right at this time.
If you would, when you ask your question, just introduce yourself so Coach can get to know who you are.
Coach, I'm John OConnor from the Richmond Times.
Know you well. Know you well.
This could be sort of a tricky spot. Was there any hesitation on your part to accept the job? I'm sure you've wanted to be a head coach, but it's sort of unusual circumstances.
Not one bit, because first of all, again, I'm honored that they came and asked me. It's a tremendous honor that Mr. Miller and Dr. Ayers entrusted me to do this, and I think it's my obligation and the guys on the staff's obligation to carry on. We have to carry on. These kids have committed to this program. This program's been good for a long time, and someone's got to step up and do it, and I think at this point in time that I'm ready for the challenge to do that, and so no trepidation at all as far as not taking. I never was a second thought about stepping in and doing it.
Coach Wes McElroy from Sports Radio 910 here in Richmond. Two-part question. One, I know Coach Scott really delegated a lot of responsibilities and faith in his coordinators. How do your responsibilities change for you personally being the coordinator? And two, who do you look to or have talked to as a mentor with the head coaching role?
Well, first off, just with that regard, being where we are at the situation now, I'm going to still continue to be the offensive coordinator, along obviously being the head coach, and have Coach Trott and Coach Legg. Their guys are, like I mentioned earlier, they're as good as they come at what they do. And obviously I'll oversee, but let them do what they do with their job. I think at this late juncture here, we're not in a position to change and move from there. Obviously there's going to be more responsibility having been the head coach and the offensive coordinator. But we've got a really good offensive staff that I think that will help me ease the burden on that as well. Some of the legwork there, so I think that'll all work out. You know, I know it's going to be a challenge, but I've seen guys do it, and that leads me to what your next question was: who's a mentor? Who I actually talked to last night was Dave Clausen, who was a similar role that he did, running the offense as well as handling the head coaching duties. And you know, when I was here before, I was the offensive coordinator with him. He had to leave a lot of times and do certain things, and I would kind of manage that situation in the room. We have a good group of guys on offense at times when I have to be out that can manage those situations. But at the end of the day, I will still be calling the plays and still be running the offense.
Coach Hank Kurz with the Associated Press. I imagine there's got to be, to some degree, an adjustment in just kind of the way you lead some way. You're still a coach, but now you're the coach. Have you considered how you'll do that, and are your dealings with players going to be different?
I think the bottom line on it all is I still have to just be myself. You know, I don't think you can come out there and try to be a different person overnight. You know, obviously there's going to be situations I'm going to deal with guys on a different circumstance, maybe on the other side of the ball that I hadn't dealt with as much. But at the end of the day, it's still got to be the same person and lead with the best way I see fit and as well as the staff sees fit. So don't plan on changing as far as who I am and how I go about things.
Coach, Lane Castellante with CBS 6 here in town. There's no good time for a situation like this, but does it make it a little easier for the kids and for the staff, the fact that classes just started, you have a game prep that you're getting into right now, there's a lot on everyone's plate, maybe take a little bit of the diversion away from the shock of what's happened?
Yeah, I guess, but I don't think, like you had mentioned, there's no good time for probably this changeover like this. But I do think that the kids, they understand it. We got Duke coming up, you know, in less than 10 days. We're ready to go down to Durham, and that's their biggest focus right now, is to get ready for Duke. And you know, I do think that part of it, probably just the closeness of that game being right here around the corner, especially the older guys and some of the veterans on the team understand the magnitude of that game and understand that we got to get ready for that, and then we have to move forward.
Coach, Matt Lincoln with NBC 12. With you not knowing what your future is after this year, can you talk about how you go about recruiting and trying to save some of these kids? Well,
we've already talked about that this morning. As a matter of fact, we're going to send emails out to recruits, not to the period of time where we can call kids yet, but just get in contact with some of our top guys. And so we're already in the process of doing that and sending out an email and have guys call me so that I can talk to them to get that. Try to keep as much continuity as I can. And the bottom line here at Richmond is whoever the head coach is, this is a great university. This is a great place to be, and kids are going to want to come here because of the great nature of this university and the program that's been here. And you know, obviously I'll have to help facilitate that, but we'll do everything in our power to make contact with these kids and recruit the kind of kids that fit here at the University of Richmond.
How about the freshmen who are on campus now? They must have sort of the least invested here in the university, maybe the most invested in Coach Scott. Have you took them aside and talked to them in particular?
Not yet, but I do plan to do so.
Hey, Wayne, Greg Burton, ESPN 950. A lot of guys say they were born to be a football coach, but if you look at your background and your resume, you know, you grew up the son of a coach. Can you talk about the impact your dad had and maybe preparing you for this moment?
It's kind of funny because it was about a couple months ago I told him to write down some of the things that are important for him to be a head coach, about things he thought that were important. And, you know, just sorry to get emotional about him, but it's something that's been that I've wanted to do for a long time. And, you know, just following in his footsteps. You know, he did it the right way, and you know, I'd like to plan and follow in his footsteps to do things the right way as he did it. And you know, it's a tremendous honor to be, like I said, to be a head coach here at the University of Richmond. And as you said, I grew up around it. I've never not been around football. So this is, you know, what I always wanted to be around. I always wanted to do, and this is a tremendous opportunity. And obviously fortunate to be in this situation.
Hey, Wayne, are you going to lose any players as a result of this move?
Current players or
Current
recruits?
players, yes. Guys on the roster now who may choose to leave as a response to this.
That has not been, the issue has not been raised yet. You know, obviously we cross any bridges as we go, so that has not come up.